In the vast, silent expanse of the Andromeda sector, a sleek diplomatic transport vessel cruised through the starry darkness. Inside, 6-year-old Jay Park pressed his small hand against the cool, transparent window, his breath creating tiny clouds that quickly disappeared. His eyes, wide with wonder, tracked the distant starlight dancing between massive celestial bodies. Jay's parents, Sung and Min Park, diplomatic representatives from Earth, watched their son with a mixture of pride and protective concern. They were en route to a critical peace negotiation with the Krex civilization, a species known for their complex communication protocols and intricate political structures. The boy wore a custom-fitted diplomatic travel suit, slightly too large but carefully tailored. His dark hair was neatly combed, and his curious eyes reflected the excitement of his first interstellar journey. Sung adjusted Jay's collar, ensuring he looked presentable for the upcoming meetings. Suddenly, a sharp vibration rippled through the ship's hull. Before anyone could react, a precision energy burst penetrated the advanced shielding, cutting through layers of technological protection with terrifying efficiency. The ship's internal systems flickered, alarms blared, and emergency protocols initiated with a mechanical urgency. Jay was thrown across the cabin, his small body spinning through the air like a fragile leaf caught in a sudden wind. He crashed against a metallic bulkhead, the impact sending a sickening thud echoing through the compartment. Blood trickled from a deep cut on his temple, his consciousness wavering between awareness and darkness. Sung and Min screamed, their professional composure shattered by parental terror. They rushed toward their son, but the ship's emergency containment systems activated, momentarily separating them. Automated medical drones deployed, their cold mechanical arms reaching toward the injured child. Outside the ship, 3 alien vessels hung motionless. Their sleek, obsidian-like hulls reflected nothing, absorbing light like black holes. Inside the lead vessel, commanders watched the human transport with calculated indifference. "Target neutralized," a commander stated in their clicking, metallic language. No emotion colored the words, no hint of empathy or regret. The diplomatic transport drifted, its systems gradually failing. Emergency signals burst outward, sending coordinates and distress messages toward Earth. Each transmission carried not just technical data, but the visual record of a small child's brutal injury. Jay's breathing was shallow. His small hand, which moments ago had been pressed against the window exploring the universe, now lay limp beside his body. The medical drones worked efficiently, stabilizing his critical systems, preserving life despite the devastating impact. In the ship's communication center, automated systems began compiling a detailed report. Every moment of the attack, every microscopic detail was being recorded and transmitted. The cameras captured Jay's fallen form, his diplomatic suit now stained with blood, a stark symbol of unexpected violence. The alien vessels maintained their position, watching, waiting. They seemed confident in their calculated assault, believing their technological superiority would mask their actions. They did not understand the power of a single moment, the potential energy contained in a child's suffering. What they could not comprehend was humanity's response would be swift, devastating, and absolute. As the damaged transport drifted, emergency beacon pulsing, Jay's barely conscious form represented more than just a diplomatic incident. He was a catalyst, a singular point around which an entire species' vengeful potential would soon crystallize. Earth would receive the transmission. Earth would understand what happened. And Earth would respond. The stars continued their silent dance, indifferent witnesses to a moment that would change galactic politics forever. The diplomatic transport, once a symbol of peaceful exploration, now became a harbinger of impending retribution. Jay Park, a 6-year-old child caught in an interstellar conflict, lay motionless. His breath, though weak, carried the promise of a response that would echo through the universe. The first act was complete. The stage was set for humanity's vengeance. The news of Jay Park's attack spread across Earth's digital networks with lightning speed. Within minutes, every screen, from massive city billboards to personal communication devices, displayed the same heartbreaking images of the injured child. In Geneva, the United Nations emergency chamber erupted into a storm of controlled chaos. Leaders from every continent gathered, their faces a mix of anger and calculated determination. The room buzzed with multiple languages, but the message was universal: this attack would not go unanswered. Hyun Kim, a decorated military strategist with salt and pepper hair and piercing eyes, stood at the center of the command platform. His fingers moved across holographic displays, analyzing the attack's intricate details. Military data, diplomatic communications, and scientific reports merged into a complex web of information. "We will respond," Hyun declared, his voice cutting through the room's tension. Not with blind rage, but with precision. Research facilities worldwide shifted into overdrive. Universities that moments ago were conducting peaceful scientific studies now transformed into weapon development centers. Engineers who had been working on renewable energy projects began designing quantum displacement technologies. Physicists abandoned theoretical research and started creating practical destruction mechanisms. In Tokyo, a team of young scientists worked around the clock, their fingers flying across advanced computer systems. They analyzed the alien vessel's attack patterns, developing countermeasures that would make traditional weapons look like ancient tools. Beijing's central military complex became a hive of strategic planning. Tactical experts created multiple response scenarios, each more devastating than the last. They understood that this wasn't just about defending Earth, but sending a message to the entire galaxy. Silicon Valley's tech companies suspended all commercial projects. Every programmer, every engineer was now focused on developing communication and weapon systems that could penetrate alien technological defenses. Military academies accelerated their training programs. Young cadets who had previously trained in theoretical scenarios now prepared for a very real, very personal conflict. They watched recordings of Jay's attack, their faces hardening with resolve. The global economic systems realigned. Resources that were once dedicated to consumer products, entertainment, and infrastructure were now channeled into military and scientific research. Governments worldwide approved unprecedented budget allocations. Satellite networks began tracking potential alien movement. Every telescope, every deep space monitoring system was now focused on potential threat zones. The universe, once a place of peaceful exploration, had become a potential battlefield. Psychological warfare teams developed communication strategies. They understood that this conflict would be fought not just with weapons, but with narrative and information. Every transmission, every communication would be carefully crafted to isolate and destabilize the alien civilization. In Moscow, a group of linguists and communication experts began developing advanced translation and communication algorithms. They would ensure that the story of Jay's attack would be understood by every sentient species in the known galaxy. Medical research facilities started developing advanced trauma treatment protocols. They prepared for potential casualties, understanding that this conflict could have far-reaching consequences. Han Kim watched these developments with a calculated calmness. He understood that humanity's response needed to be more than just a military action. It needed to be a comprehensive, multi-layered strategy that would demonstrate their technological and strategic superiority. "We are not just defending ourselves," he told his closest advisors. "We are sending a message that will echo through generations." As hours turned into days, the global response took shape. It was no longer about a single diplomatic mission or a single child. It was about humanity's collective identity, their ability to protect their own, and their capacity for strategic, overwhelming response. The alien civilization that had attacked Jay Park had made a critical miscalculation. They had not just injured a child. They had awakened a sleeping giant. And that giant was now fully, terrifyingly aware. The first strike began with absolute silence. Massive Earth vessels emerged from quantum displacement zones, their technological design unlike anything previously seen in galactic conflicts. These were not traditional weapons, but precision instruments of calculated destruction. Hyun Kim watched the holographic displays, his fingers moving with surgical precision. Each vessel had been programmed with complex algorithms that targeted the alien civilization's critical infrastructure with mathematical perfection. The quantum displacement weapons worked differently from conventional armaments. They didn't just destroy, they dismantled. Entire communication networks collapsed within microseconds. Power grids vanished without explosive residue. Technological centers transformed into empty shells, their complex systems rendered instantly inoperable. Strategic points were selected with cold, rational calculation. Research facilities, military command centers, transportation hubs, each target fell without traditional warfare's messy complications. The attacks left no room for counterstrikes, no opportunities for defensive maneuvers. Sung Park managed communication protocols, ensuring every transmission revealed humanity's technological superiority. Encrypted messages spread across alien communication networks, broadcasting the precise details of their tactical approach. The alien civilization watched in horror as their most advanced systems crumbled. Their technological confidence dissolved, replaced by a growing understanding of their vulnerability. They had believed themselves untouchable, a miscalculation that would cost them everything. Quantum sensors mapped every defensive mechanism, predicting and neutralizing potential resistance before it could manifest. Artificial intelligence systems worked faster than organic thought, creating response strategies in nanoseconds. Military academies had prepared for this moment. Young commanders executed complex maneuvers with disciplined precision. Each action was calculated, each movement designed to maximize psychological impact. Deep space monitoring stations tracked the operation's progress. Scientists observed the systematic deconstruction, collecting data that would reshape understanding of interstellar conflict. The first strike wasn't about total destruction. It was a calculated demonstration of capabilities. Humanity wanted to send a clear message: touch one of ours, and the consequences will be precise, overwhelming, and complete. Alien communication networks collapsed under coordinated cyber attacks. Information pathways became blocked, then erased. Their ability to communicate, coordinate, or even understand the attack disappeared simultaneously across multiple star systems. Weapon systems that had seemed invincible moments before became useless. Defensive technologies crumbled like ancient structures facing modern engineering. The alien civilization's proud technological infrastructure became a graveyard of failed systems. Hyun Kim's voice remained calm throughout the operation. Precision, he repeated to his team. We are not barbarians. We are architects of response. Earth's vessels moved like shadows, leaving no traditional warfare signatures. No explosions, no traditional weapon impacts. Just systematic, intelligent deconstruction. The psychological warfare was equally devastating. Detailed records of the attack on J were broadcast across every accessible communication channel. The story of a child's injury became a weapon more powerful than any physical strike. Other galactic civilizations watched in silent understanding. Humanity had transformed from a seemingly naive species to a calculated, technologically superior force. As the operation concluded, only silence remained where a complex alien civilization had existed moments before. No debris, no traditional signs of conflict. Just empty space and disabled systems. Sung Park transmitted the final communication: this is what happens when you harm a child of Earth. The message was clear, concise, and absolutely terrifying. Humanity had spoken. Not with rage, but with calculated, intelligent destruction. The first strike was complete. And it was just the beginning. Woon Choi sat in a secure communication center, her fingers dancing across quantum communication interfaces. Her team had transformed psychological warfare into a precise scientific art form. This wasn't about destruction anymore, this was about total isolation. Every communication network in the known galaxy began receiving carefully constructed narratives. High-resolution recordings showed J. Park's injury in clinical, heartbreaking detail. The story wasn't just transmitted, it was engineered to trigger emotional responses across different species' psychological landscapes. Alien civilizations received meticulously crafted data packets. Each transmission contained not just visual evidence, but contextual information designed to trigger specific emotional responses. The recording of a small child's suffering became a weapon more devastating than any physical strike. Diplomatic channels worldwide coordinated the information assault. Translation algorithms ensured that every species, regardless of communication complexity, would understand the fundamental narrative: humanity would protect its own with uncompromising commitment. Research teams had spent weeks studying alien communication protocols. They understood that different species processed information differently. Some responded to visual trauma, others to logical sequences. The psychological warfare team created multi-layered communication strategies targeting these specific psychological vulnerabilities. The targeted alien civilization found itself completely cut off. No trade agreements, no communication channels, no diplomatic interactions. They became galactic pariahs, their entire societal structure collapsing under systematic isolation. Communication satellites positioned across multiple star systems broadcast the story continuously. The message was simple: harm a human child, and you will be completely erased from meaningful galactic interactions. Quantum communication networks transformed the narrative into a living, breathing entity. It wasn't just information, it was an emotional experience that could be felt rather than simply understood. Species across different star systems began viewing the targeted civilization with collective disgust. Economic systems responded immediately. Trading partnerships dissolved. Research collaborations disappear. The alien civilization became a case study in total diplomatic failure. Hyun Kim monitored the psychological assault with scientific detachment. "Information is our most powerful weapon," he told his team. "Physical destruction is temporary. Narrative destruction is permanent." Young diplomats and communication experts worked around the clock. They understood they were writing a new chapter in galactic interactions. This wasn't just about revenge, this was about establishing a new understanding of human capabilities. Scientific institutions began publishing detailed analysis of the attack and humanity's response. Academic papers discussing the psychological impact spread across research networks. The narrative became an academic study, a diplomatic case file, and a warning. The communication assault lasted weeks, but its impact would be remembered for generations. No physical weapon could match the precision of this psychological deconstruction. Alien civilizations watched in a mixture of fear and respect. Humanity had transformed a tragic incident into a calculated, multi-layered response that redefined interstellar conflict. Eun Choi's team had turned information into a weapon more powerful than any physical strike. They had proven that in the modern galactic landscape, narrative was the most destructive force. The psychological warfare was complete. The message was sent. And it would be remembered. Humanity had spoken. Not with weapons, but with the most powerful tool in existence, a carefully constructed story. The universe would never be the same. Jay Park lay in a specialized recovery chamber, his small body surrounded by advanced medical technology. Holographic displays tracked his healing progress, each heartbeat a testament to human resilience. The doctors had done more than heal his physical wounds, they had transformed him into a living symbol of humanity's unbreakable spirit. The final phase of retribution was not about total destruction. It was a systematic, calculated dismantling of an entire civilization's infrastructure. Humanity's response would be surgical, precise, and devastating. Earth's most advanced AI systems began analyzing every aspect of the alien civilization's societal structure. They didn't just target military or technological systems, they targeted the very foundation of their existence. Economic networks were the first to collapse. Trading routes that had existed for centuries suddenly disappeared. Communication channels became blocked. The alien civilization found itself economically isolated, with no way to sustain its complex societal systems. Hyun Kim oversaw the operation with calculated calm. "We're not destroying," he told his team. "We're restructuring." Scientific research facilities were systematically neutralized. Not destroyed, but rendered completely ineffective. Advanced technologies became useless, complex research projects collapsed, and innovative potential vanished. Diplomatic channels across the galaxy carried the story of Jay's attack. Each transmission was a weapon more powerful than any physical strike. Other civilizations watched in a mixture of fear and respect, understanding that humanity had redefined interstellar conflict. The medical facility where Jay recovered became a symbol. Journalists and diplomats visited, documenting his recovery. His story became more than a personal tragedy, it became a galactic message. Quantum communication networks spread the narrative like a living organism. The attack on J was no longer just an incident, it was a turning point in galactic relations. Young military strategists studied the operation as a perfect example of measured response. Universities created entire academic disciplines around humanity's approach to conflict resolution. Choice communication teams ensured that every detail was perfectly documented. Nothing was left to chance. Each transmission was a carefully constructed piece of a larger narrative. The alien civilization's infrastructure crumbled not through violence, but through systematic deconstruction. Their technological superiority became their greatest weakness. Every system they had believed protected them now worked against them. Jay's recovery became a global celebration. Not just a personal triumph, but a collective statement of human resilience. Television networks, digital platforms, and communication channels broadcast his progress continuously. Military vessels maintained a silent presence around the dismantled alien territories. They didn't need to attack, their presence was enough. A constant reminder of the consequences of harming a human child. Scientific teams continued to analyze every aspect of the conflict. What had begun as a tragic attack had transformed into the most significant diplomatic event in human history. The message was clear: humanity would protect its own with unprecedented commitment. As weeks turned into months, the alien civilization became nothing more than a case study. Their entire existence reduced to an academic analysis of what happens when you underestimate a species' capacity for response. Jay Park, now recovering, represented more than just a survivor. He was a symbol of humanity's unbreakable spirit. The ultimate retribution was complete. Not through destruction, but through absolute, calculated dismantling. The universe had learned its lesson. Never harm a human child.